First of all, were you surprised that the Redskins claimed him on waivers? The only team, apparently, to do so.
Yeah, not terribly surprised. I didn't say it like on the radio on Monday when I was last on, but I was kind of thinking, you know what, this might be something that they would roll the dice on. I honestly thought more teams would be interested in putting a claim on. Maybe they were just waiting for him to get through waivers because the deal with waivers is the Redskins absorbed his contract.
Right.
You know, they don't have to pay all the guaranteed money that the 49ers had to pay. They're only stuck with basically a little bit this year and like $1.2 million next year and so on and so forth. But, you know, but they are stuck with that if he's on the roster and if he's, you know, part of their organization. So long and the short of it, I think it's a good football move, quite honestly. If we're being honest, I think it's a good football move. I think he's a terrible person. I'll say that. I would never make this move if I was a GM, if I was a head coach. And all I can tell you, guys, I know there's a lot of split opinion, around the NFL, and maybe a lot of people like me that, wouldn't touch him. And but there are people in the Redskins front office and executive level that are not in favor of this move. There is clearly a split opinion, from what I was told by more than one person, about the acquisition of Reuben Foster.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know who those guys were. Do you think it's guys in the personnel department that are split, or do you think it's business side versus personnel side?
I think Jay Gruden really likes Reuben Foster, and I think he was kind of in favor of bringing him on the personnel side. That we're not in favor of the move. Let's put it that way. And I think, maybe you can mix a little personnel and business along with that, but mostly the football operations side is what I would say. But clearly if Jay wanted him, and Jay has had an affinity for Reuben Foster's talent, going back to when he came out in the draft, there was a lot of connections and rumors about that. If Jay said, no, you know what, we need this guy because he's an upgrade whenever he can play, if he can play, when he can play. He's an upgrade over Zach Brown and Mason Foster. And that's the thing here. If Jay felt that way, and I think he did, then he had to get signed off from Dan or from Bruce or from, I don't know, he gets signed off from Doug Williams, whatever. That's a whole weird situation. The bottom line is he had to get approval or sign off from somebody else besides just Jay Gruden wanting Reuben Foster.
Yeah, and do the Skins, and we took calls in the 6 o'clock hour, Chris, and people are all over the place, both sides, and people make good points. Do the Skins even think about when they, sign a guy or claim a guy like this, do they even think about what the national reaction is going to be through the media, what the local reaction is going to be, what the fans are going to think? Because, half the people are going to hate it, if not more.
Right. Well, they obviously do because they put out the statement.
I know, but I mean, are they just saying we don't really care? I mean, we're just going to deal with it?
Yeah, I think they're willing to take that black eye, if you will, that PR hit right now in the short term for whatever the long-term gain is that they could potentially get, hoping that they could fix this guy. I mean, if we think about it, right? I mean, they drafted Darius Geis. He came with all sorts of allegations and, issues. They brought in 4 years ago Deshaun Jackson when he was basically cut from Philadelphia because of, I guess as it turned up, outlandish made-up accusations and lies about gang ties. I mean, they don't care about that stuff as much as we think they care. I mean, they care to some degree because they put out a statement, but they don't care as much as, obviously, hey, this guy can help us win. Whenever he can help us, this guy can help us win, and it's not costing us ultimately that much. And that's, I guess, how they would approach the Reuben Foster suit. And I would just say this. I mean, I wrote a column for the FanDC.com. Look, not only is he an upgrade over, in my opinion, physical talent, Mason Foster, but also ultimately I think he's going to be the replacement for Zach Brown next year. And just from a standpoint of salary cap, the Redskins are going to be pressed to make a decision here because Zach Brown costs almost $9 million under the salary cap next year, guys. That's a hard number to carry. on a team that's going to have to carry a lot of quarterback, and we already know what kind of mess that is. And quite honestly, they don't trust him in pass coverage a lot. He's not on the field a lot. When they need him to be in nickel situations, how do you pay a guy $9 million under your cap when he's not on the field, when you don't trust him to be on the field, when you'd rather have Jones and I guess, bulkier Mason Foster on the field? How do you do that?
Right.